News First, Newsline Prime with Faraz, Shauketaly.
A very good evening to you. This is Newsline Prime, live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. It's a wet day out there, but it's still pretty, isn't it, our country? Well, a very good evening to you, and to continue our ongoing discussion, but with a slightly wider perspective, this evening is Mr. Chandima Weerakkody, Member of Parliament and a former minister, and he's right here in the studio with us. Very good evening to you, Mr. Chandima.
Good evening.
And tell us, as a young Member of Parliament, are you satisfied with the legacy that you will inherit?
Well, everyone in this country is confused.
Yeah.
That's because people wanted a change. All these, like we were living in this country, not anywhere else.
Yeah.
People were not happy with the previous government.
Yeah.
They wanted a change.
Yeah.
And that was a unity government.
Mm.
One of the partners, UPFA, left the unity government. Consequent to that, the president has to appoint a prime minister and a cabinet.
Mm.
That was done according to the provisions of the constitution as provided. But unfortunately, the speaker looked at it with a green glass, and he didn't want to accept.
So you're saying that he looked at it partially?
Absolutely. I have never seen a speaker. I was also one time deputy speaker.
Yes, you were, weren't you?
When we were there, we never looked at things politically.
Yeah.
We never wanted to be biased, especially when we sit. Every time we sat on that chair, we maintained the highest integrity and the independence of the chair.
Right.
But it was not done so. So therefore, the things erupted subsequent to, the events that erupted subsequent to such conduct has not been satisfactory, and that is not what the people of this country has been expecting from the parliamentarians and the government.
So, I know much of the country is confused, but is this really what you wanted from your leaders?
No. Now, the pulse of the people, what do people want?
I've just finished a 1,800
Yeah.
kilometer round trip.
Yeah. What do people want?
They
as
appear
an
to
individual?
want elections.
Yeah. So as quite rightly, I'm an elected member of parliament.
Yeah.
I'm closer to people of all levels.
Yeah.
We interact with people. Almost everyone in this country wants to face an election. That's the opinion. That's the reaction, opinion that we get from the people. So that is probably why the president decided to give that opportunity by dissolving parliament.
But isn't this now the time? There are various times in our history that opportunities present themselves. One was the end of the war. Another was when the people wanted good governance, and they went for a change in January 2015. And I see the third opportunity presenting itself now, in which the people are all united in their quest for an election. So therefore, isn't the time right and ripe right now for an aspiring leader to come forward and tell the old people, look, enough is enough. You guys are not leaving us a good legacy, and can you step aside? We are taking the reins. And isn't it time that some such change, some younger person came along? And there are plenty from all sides of the political divide.
Well, first the opportunity must be given for people to decide. Once the opportunity is given, I believe people will choose a leader of their choice. There is enough in whom people can be confident of. But you need a leader who can be trusted by a majority of people. Yeah. You need a leader who can be expected to deliver the expectations of the people.
Yeah.
You need a leader who's dependable. So I believe it's now the time to test that.
But what kind of leadership are we getting from basically from these old fogies? They look, come on, they're all just knocking 70 now. Why can't y'all get together and tell them very politely, can you guys, you know, take a back seat, become elder statesmen, we'll handle it. Why can't you young people do all that? You're young enough.
Well, it's like this.
Kalata is young enough, Sajid is young enough, Harin is young enough. So, you know, from all sides of this, the political divide, you have younger people.
That is true. But at the same time, in Sri Lankan context, you need a person. Now, the issue is the political parties. Now, if you take the UNP, former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has lost 29 times.
Yeah.
But yet he doesn't want to leave the party and the leadership. And
why is that? Why, if you're looking at it from above, because obviously from another party, and if you're looking from above and looking in, why is this sort of almost subservience? Why?
That question, I believe, should ask from former Prime Minister.
Indeed.
Wickremesinghe.
All right.
Because he organized his party in such way that he cannot be removed from the party leadership. And also, I mean, it was like, had you listened to the president previously a couple of times, he has offered the premiership to Karu Jayasuriya and Sajid Premadasa. But both of them have refused to accept it. So it shows, I mean, there must be a drive in those who aspire to take over the party to come out radically and take it through.
But the same problem appears to have happened with the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Once Mahinda Rajapaksa had won the war and then called for an election, I mean, on the back of the war victory, his performance, your party's performance, at around 58% of the vote, although it was a good 8% more than 50, one found it rather surprising, because after all, a 30-plus year war had been finished, and this man was like a hero. He was like Michael Jackson reincarnated in terms of the popularity and so on. But yet, some months later, when he called for elections, didn't that 58% ring bells in your heads? Didn't you think to yourselves, how come? Why isn't he getting 75%?
Well,
Chandrika got 62, 63.
Yeah, Sri Lanka is a democracy.
Yeah.
Sri Lankan people have always been independent in their thinking, the majority.
Yeah.
That is why we have had uninterrupted democracy in these regions. India and Sri Lanka are the only two countries have had uninterrupted democracy.
But this is a funny democracy that we live in.
Why?
Well, I'll tell you why. Ranil Wickremesinghe and his party present a no-confidence motion in Parliament, saying that they have no confidence in the Prime Minister and his government. Right? When you do that, you're obviously acknowledging that there is a Prime Minister and a government. But yet Ranil Wickremesinghe is, for all intents and purposes, squatting at temple trees. What is that kind of a democracy? That's why I say it's a funny democracy.
Yeah, to that extent I agree. And also, now, the president appointed a prime minister. It is the president's prerogative to appoint a prime minister as per the provisions of the constitution. Once a prime minister is appointed, unless removed by the president himself, there is a criteria, a procedure to submit a no confidence motion. I was also present at the so-called party leaders meeting.
Yes.
There, the position of the government was to submit a proper no confidence motion as per the provisions of the standing orders, leave it in the order book for 5 days, and we will agree for the earliest possible date upon expiration of 5 days.
Now that was not done.
Stop.
But now you're Deputy Speaker. You're pretty familiar with all these rules.
Yeah.
So what was wrong in what Speaker Jayasuriya did when he took that voice vote amidst all the confusion? What was wrong with that?
No,
He suspended the standing orders.
He suspended the standing orders, and if you look at the Hansard of that particular day, he says that he's as provided under standing order 27 for whatever, that is going for a voice vote.
Yeah.
I mean, he himself on the same day decides to suspend all the standing orders.
He decides.
He decides,
and
in a few
Mr.
minutes
Sumandiran who proposed,
and in a few minutes, he himself says, under referring to 27 standing order, that is calling for a voice vote. When all the standing orders are suspended, how can he call for a voice vote referring to standing order 27? And also, it's very clear.
So that's an anomaly.
It's an anomaly, and that's the voice vote is taken with a count. It's very clear. This is not the House of Commons. That practice was there in the House of Commons. And also, there was a committee that was appointed during the previous Speaker's time to amend the standing orders. I was on the committee. I used to chair the committee very often because whenever the Speaker was not in a position to chair.
Yeah.
So we brought in, proposed a lot of amendments. I must thank Professor Rajiva Vijayasinghe, who took a keen interest over bringing in amendments to the standing orders. And then in this parliament, another committee was appointed to complete the process. So, of which I was also a committee member.
Yeah.
If you may remember, during last parliament, based on this British House of Commons practice, certain proposals are knocked out. Because of that, the certain standing order was properly reframed to state that upon a count of yes or no, that it can be decided. It's not by allowing the members to hoot, and based on the strength of their hooting, that it can be decided. It's very clear if you may look at the standing orders.
I see. So, as Deputy Speaker and someone who's probably more familiar than most other members of Parliament, you say that was wrong.
Absolutely. And
then what about all these people who blocked him from coming to take his seat and throwing chili powder at the police officers, destroying a chair?
What led to that event? I mean, that conduct is not certainly approved of.
Right.
But as Speaker has to be an independent person.
Yeah.
On the first day itself, what transpired in Parliament, when there has been in any Parliament in the world, like you can go online and check what happened in the US, what happened in Japan, in a lot of countries, what happened in Uganda. But it's the responsibility of the Speaker to diffuse the situation. When we see a difficult situation is growing up, we used to always adjourn Parliament. Speaker can abruptly adjourn. He has to only stand. The moment the Speaker stands up, Parliament stands adjourned. He never wanted to do it due to instructions that he received from I don't know whoever. He never acted independently. Had he prudently independently acted, he had adjourned. Subsequent to a party leaders meeting, amicably issues would have been resolved, but that was not done. And the animosity among the members were growing up. He was leading, he was only allowing it to grow. And then it was like on Sirasa, 2 members carried knives.
Yeah.
The second day, request from the government members was to take action against those who brought the knives into the chamber. But nothing was done. No action was taken, and there was a issue. So then what did the speaker do? I don't think that has happened in any parliament in the world. Speaker, together with the former Prime Minister, entered into the chamber through the opposition doors. I mean, can a speaker is supposed to be independent. He has a separate entrance.
But with all due respect,
the police.
But with all due respect, he was probably scared, poor old Carol. You know, he's not a young spring chicken, is he?
No, certainly
scared.
that is. Yeah,
you had Johnny and all of them armed to their teeth. You know,
I mean,
they were chucking books there.
Yeah, but
all that.
No, but I mean, why did that situation? How did that situation transpire? Very often, a speaker is an elderly, honourable, respected, reputed senior member. I mean, in a family, children can fight, but the parents should know how to handle them. But there was an absolute mishandling that led to that dark hour of the parliament.
Now then, as you know, on Newsline and Newsline Prime, we invite our viewers to send in your questions by SMS, please. 0772 300 305. And straight through to here. Don't call it, please, because it's only SMSs right now. Here you go. Please, will you explain to us that the appointment of the Prime Minister is lawful? Too many interpretations confuse us. This is from somebody who's sending.
Well, if you may look at Article 42 of the Constitution, appointment of the Prime Minister is with the President. President can appoint a member of Parliament whom, in his opinion, can command the best support in Parliament.
What happens when his opinion fails and then the person...
No, it is, I mean, there is no criteria that
yes, right, I know.
It is because you must understand, in this country, according to the Constitution, the head of the government and the head of the cabinet is the President.
Right.
So, in order to run the country, the person who takes over as the Prime Minister has to command support in his opinion. That is how it's allowed. That's
so the
why
President can't be the Prime Minister?
President can't be the Prime Minister.
No.
So, and also, all this time, there was a unity government. If you may look at Article 46, subsection 4, formation of a unity government can be between the party that obtains the highest number of members and together with one or more of other parties. So likewise, UNP and the UPFA
went into an agreement,
and subsequent to a motion that was approved in Parliament, approval was obtained to have a cabinet of 45 members. Then UPFA decided to leave the unity government. UPFA, by the time the UPFA left, before UPFA left, total number was 40 in numbers. Because few of us left before that. And the UPFA, when 6 UPFA members left, the cabinet, the existing cabinet was a 34-member cabinet. But if you again look at Article 46(1), if once it's a single party government, that particular government can have a maximum number of 30 members only.
Right.
So Now there is a discrepancy. There is an issue. The Prime Minister can hold office only as per the provisions of the Constitution, and the
Right.
Cabinet can exist as per the provisions of the Constitution.
Right.
If you look at the,
But the 19th Amendment,
it is by the as provided by the 19th Amendment. Then a situation arises. Now, single party government, but they can have only 30 members in the Cabinet. Whereas in this instance, there are 34. Then what happens? It's the Cabinet is unconstitutional. Then it is up to the President to decide. President decided to reconstitute a new Cabinet. The moment the Cabinet doesn't exist, is no more there, existence of the Prime Minister is not there. So then the President gets an opportunity to appoint a Prime Minister. No one else. It's not the Parliament like in other countries, it's not the Speaker, it's not the people who appoint the Prime Minister. So as provided by the Constitution, President appointed former President Mahinda Rajapaksa as the Prime Minister. That is how it was done. That is how it can be done.
But all this kalabala now is also because, not only because of the Speaker, but also because Mahinda Rajapaksa appears not to have a 113 figure.
No, you don't have to have 113. Now, if you go back to the 2004 election, Parliament, we had only 105. But irrespective of that number, government continued, and at one point when JVP left,
Yes, but now the problem is
67.
But now the problem is that even though you all are, what you're saying is you're talking for minority government. The problem is now on 2 occasions now the other side has given you a drubbing because they've got 122 votes against two bills, and so isn't it true that if you're bringing something important, it's going to suffer the same fate?
No, that is the deadlock situation. Now, you take 2015 government.
So why are they not bringing a no confidence motion then?
They are not bringing it the proper way. If you look at it, I mean,
but why
it's
is
become
that?
a joke.
But why?
I don't know. Some unseen force is guiding them. Otherwise,
is it because? Can I just ask?
Yeah.
Is it because that although they are shouting about it, the UNF, although the UNP is shouting about undemocratic acts and so on, is there a possibility that this is being done because the President has already made it known that no matter what the majority is, if you come and give me Ranil Wickremesinghe's name, I am not having him with me?
Well,
is there some fear that Mr. Wickremesinghe's political career will come to a sudden stop because the President is refusing on the grounds that he believes that Mr. Wickremesinghe is not workable with? It is his opinion after all, and that's why he says, well, give me another name, but not his name.
Yeah. So I mean that he must be having his reasons to say that also. So now, as I said, now we are in a deadlock situation.
Yeah.
Now, the same situation arose, I think, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe attempted the same 25 years ago when the Southern Provincial Council election was won by the UPFA, that time the People's Alliance, got 24 members. UNP, breakaway factor, UNF, got 4 members. And UNP got 27 members. So that time also UPA, together with UNF, 28 members gave affidavits to the then governor, late Honorable Al-Haj Baki Maka, to appoint late Honorable Amarasiri Dodangoda as the Chief Minister. But with same instructions that the present Speaker has got, the governor appointed Chief Minister M.S. Amarasiri. we went to courts. We fought a battle in courts for about 2 months, and we got a judgment in our favor. Then Honorable Amarasiri Dorangodu was sworn in as the Chief Minister. Nevertheless, within 2 months, the governor dissolved the Provincial Council again. So that time also, that was also a deadlock situation like this. We were contemplating whether to file action in courts or not. But we decided. I still remember RKW Gunasekara was as our legal counsel, he advised us as well. And late Prime Minister Sirimawa Bandaranaike decided that we should go for elections.
Yeah.
We decided to go for elections.
Right.
And that resolved an issue that brought in a change of the political culture in this country, political game in this country. That is how 17-year-old UNP regime came to an end. So in this situation also, now it's, by the way, it's a deadlock.
Right.
So
now,
the best solution available,
yeah,
as I feel and as the people of this country feel, is to go for an election.
Right. Can you quickly go through the numbers? We've got about 2-3 minutes left. You know, the UNP say that they have got the numbers.
Yeah.
And Mr. Wickramasinghe is on record. But there was an article in the paper the weekend that suggested otherwise. Can you tell me what the real numbers are? How many members has the SLFP, which is obviously or the UPFA, how much have they got? How many have they got?
The UPFA originally had 96,
Yeah.
but now we have 103.
Okay, now you've got 103.
Yeah.
The TNA has got 16.
16, now they have 14.
14.
Yeah.
And the JVP have? 6. So SLMC and the ACMC is 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave them for a moment. Now, how much does the UNP got? 103, 117, 123, and the SLMC, ACMC 124 plus something else. So how much has the UNP got?
I mean, in this ball game,
Yeah.
the numbers that you have today.
So what I'm trying to work out is
Yeah.
whether obviously in the president's opinion,
Yeah.
the person who can command the majority in the House.
Yeah.
So from these figures, it would appear that 103, 117, 123, then
they have
they can't have a majority.
of 100 yeah.
They may have about 100.
Yeah.
Or
So no, that
just
was-
under 100.
Absolutely.
So this is the real reason why they don't want to go for a proper vote.
Absolutely.
Of
That was my argument also. In now we
So
have,
this is right,
we have,
isn't it?
Yeah, we have 103 plus as one group who want to form government.
Yeah.
But UNP now to oppose us,
yeah.
to oppose us, of course JVP, TNA will join with the UNP.
Yes, but that
they are
isn't-
not. They don't want to join with the UNP to form a government.
Right. They're only joining together to get rid of Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Structure, but not to form government. Right. So what is important here in forming a government is for one party or two parties or more parties to get together and form a government. So if UNP, if TNA joins with the UNP to form government, not to support them by being in the opposition.
Right.
I mean, that is democracy. How can you? I mean, how it's a fine justification, explanation of democracy.
Yeah.
Leader of the opposition decides as to who the Prime Minister should be.
Yeah.
That is what happened during the last no confidence motion. How did Ranil Wickramasinghe got 122 last time, together with the TNA 16? I mean, he didn't get 113 of his own.
Yeah.
But together with the support of the leader of the opposition and his party, he becomes Prime Minister. I mean, is that democracy? Is that a reflection of people's mandate?
And this simple thing
This is
escapes the memory, escapes the understanding of the speaker.
Absolutely. And this is, I mean, can you call it democracy leader of the opposition, together with the Prime Minister, runs a government, and they call themselves Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition. Majority of the members had been in the government without any position. Is it the reflection of the expectation of the people? So we must get an opportunity to have real reflection of people's sentiment in our parliament.
Chandima Weerakkody, thank you very much for being on Newsline. And is it democracy? Let's find out soon rather than later. In the meantime, we'll leave you with this short message. Take care, good night, and of course, God bless you.
Thank you very much.
These are the political, economical and social problems in the country. Divide the classroom into two and hold a debate. This group to my right will speak for the topic and the group to my left will oppose the topic. Now, it is better if you do it the way they do it in the parliament, like the ruling party and the opposition. You start.
Thank you. We hope to take this country forward for the midterm projects in the country. The people of this country are suffering.
Stop! I did not ask you to debate like how they would in parliament to start a fight. It was to build this country.
Think. Never vote them into parliament again. Our future and our children's future depends on it.
News First, Newsline Prime with Faraz, Shauketaly.